you guys doing? Praise the Lord, huh? Oh, I'm going through a thing, man. And like, boy, I'll tell you, I am White Rabbit, Rabid Rabbi. I gave myself that name. Um, it's a biblical name, but see, the rabbit is weird because it's considered unclean because it chews the cud, which is good. And my feeling about the chewing the cud is to maybe think about every situation, right? To not I don't know, approach every situation with a sense of fullness, I guess, right? Even I don't know, all things good. Every situation has the ability to turn out to be a good thing. Every single one. If it's a bad situation, I mean, you got two choices to get out of it right there. If it's a sin, your way is already provided for you to get out. So it's, um, if it's something else, okay, because you got to realize there's two flames maybe working here. Hey, how you doing, brother? Um, the Lord works with two very distinct powers, and but when He says something like, Jesus told us sin will never. Was it Jesus that said that? Doesn't matter. He's the Word, so somewhere in there, somebody just uttered the word over, right? But He said that no sin will overtake you. That it won't be put upon you with the idea that you will have the inability to overcome it. Okay. And the reason that why that's important, that's so important. I'm giving you the keys to the city right now. You're going to understand why people think that we serve a mean God, and we don't. We absolutely don't. But because he uses two forces, right? And we're told that the Lord's Prayer says, "Lead." It's strange. It's troubling, right? And like if I'll don't blow me out with too many questions, okay? Because I got to keep this rolling. But I love you, brother. Okay, I will do a Q&A. So if you got something like really important, the comments are good. You got anything to here? You know what? That's a good pinner. Hang on a minute. It's good to have something up at the top, and that way people, when they get into the conversation, and they're, I mean, anything, right? I go into a neighborhood somewhere or someplace I don't know. That's the first thing I do. It's like I have no idea what this place is like. If you're afraid, you might be looking for a way out immediately. That'd be like the idea of maybe a fireman or somebody in the IDF or Marine Corps or some type of military unit. Somebody in a secret military unit, and they can't talk about it, and it's Did you hear that tone? That means I digress. Let's try and stay on here, okay? If there's people think that there's only one way out for sin, right? I'm gonna teach you today that there's actually two ways out when you know how to. Sorry, what is that? Oh yeah. Sorry, eyebrow hanging down. You actually have two ways out. Okay. You know how it says, make straight the ways, make straight his ways. Okay. It's almost as if the Lord has two paths that you walk on, and one is paved. That's the one, it's got little holes in the middle where you're walking with a staff. It's like a machine. It can't fail you. I promise you. If anything in that book ever fails you, okay, and I mean, you're going to have to come to me, obviously, for me to let you slay me for lying to you. But if anything in that book ever fails you, and you give me a chance to reason with you, I'll give you that option. I trust it that much in my life. I'll do that. Okay. Don't be telling me about contradictions and little measly peasly things. That bothers me. Like extreme. Don't I don't know. Today I heard a prayer from one of my brothers. Okay. He loves Israel. He's I don't know. I it's funny how you beg for God to show up, right? And then I don't want to start crying. And I don't mean, I'm not crying because I'm weak. It's like, wow, who am I? Who am I that he should pay attention to me? That was my first prayer. 10 steps away from making that prayer. And there was just 10 people up there, by the way. 10 steps from that. I'm walking away from where I said a prayer. Terrible, my life's destroyed. I lost my twin girls. I had to watch them be born, but not alive. 3 days of labor, laying next to my wife, sleeping on one of those little, it's like a little ottoman. I don't know what it is. It looks like something you rest your feet on, but then you can kind of unfold it a little bit and try and sleep in it. Oh man, it was just the worst. I lost my job, went to a competitor because they came from a really big company. But I want to say something about big companies, and this goes out to all the big companies. Don't pump up your financials when you're getting ready to go broke so that you can pass all your debt over to the credit card companies for pennies on the dollar, and your company looks good, and then you can resell it and screw everyone out of their 401k and all the other things. Let me tell you what happens to people like me, corporation. And I'll calm down in a second here. Don't worry, guys. You got to get mean sometimes. So I'm going to tell you what happens to people like me. Okay? People like me. You know what I did for you, corporation? I ran your ship with nothing. Nothing. Paper clips and rubber bands. Everybody else in the world had Windows 2000 and going on. They were still creeping up. That's what they had on their desks. What did I have? Windows 95. Way to the future. But I ran that whole place, didn't I? Yeah, we made money. But when they bankrupt you, see, and this goes to you guys, when they bankrupt you, they don't care what the employees do. You want to know what they look at? The equipment. What's the equipment worth? Now, if they would have known who they were roasting out of a job from my facility, I also assisted companies in the UK, India, and Canada, and a few of the select breed within the company that did that. I single-handedly manned an entire IT department. And when it became too much of a burden, I programmed my job to do itself, parts of it. Like a third of my day was knocked out. And so when you slice the throat of this sacrifice, you're ruining yourself. The company that bought us from the company that bought us, they didn't know anything about me. They didn't know what this guy had done. And so they got rid of me. And yeah, I was a computer operator. I was like banging a keyboard all day long, looking at stuff, data input. What a headache. And you know what? That changed really quick when my boss found out that I wasn't doing my job for about 8 months because it was running by itself. I had a little pager and it would send me pages, saying, hey, do this, do that. It would send ones, then twos. It would send like a bank of ones, bank of twos, to let me know where it was in there. And because if it failed, some things I could fix local, some things are not local, remote. And back then, that was when RDP, remote desktop protocol, was going on and stuff like that. That when that showed up, that was great because then I had a Hitachi 1000. Look up that phone sometime. It was crazy. It was like It was like a brick. My friend, the network administrator, he says, he goes, that thing looks like a piece of steak, man. I go, yeah, you'd want to eat some of this. But it was nice because you'd get a call on the phone. What's going on? Yeah. You know what it did? It kept me working like all the time because I'd have my phone with me and I could just zoom in remote support across my phone. All right. That's what we're all going to start doing with AI now. Okay. We'll do remote sessions. If AI can't fix it for the person, then we're all going to be IT managers or something, right? We got to figure out something because our economy is just going to tear itself apart. But in that company, when I thought I was going to lose my job, I had having a discussion in front of the CIO of the purchasing company. This is before I made my move up. I have to now expose that my job's been doing itself. He's shouting, "You're telling me you had a process running for 8 months and nobody's no, nobody's complained, and he goes, "Get out of my office, Masani." And I was just immediately turned around, to say, "Forget it, man, I'm fired," and I just turn, I'm like, well, I tried to do a good thing and I didn't work, right? And I heard a bang on the desk and it made me startle me. I jump, I turn around. He's got $100 bill under his hand, slides it over and goes, "Here." And I didn't even want to take it because it's like $100 for what that ain't going to do anything. And I figure it's my last check. And he goes, "Here, go play golf or something. You're the most amazing." And then guess what happened? The job that I was supposed to lose banging on a keyboard, when I met up to get my severance package, they're like, "Oh, no, we don't meet people like you all the time. We got a lot of work for you. You're going to be running your own office in Chicago." Okay. 222 Busse, Busse Road, Des Plaines, Illinois. Look it up. It was a beautiful place. I remember all kinds of cool things happened there. One time I had an eagle sitting on my car. That happened. Somebody else told me I had an eagle sitting on my car. Somebody else told me it was up on my bike rack, because it's like a cage. And I don't know. Eagles will build. It's funny when they build a nest because they're so big. You'll laugh about this, okay? I like to. Mission failed successfully. Yes, that's what our God does. That's what I'm going to tell you. I didn't forget. Okay. I'm going to tell you about how when there's a sin going on, you have at least 2 options. You might even have more if I think about it. But it's like, for me, the trick is don't sin. If the seed of God is in, when the seed of God is in a person, you don't sin. It's just I don't want to do that. It's like a natural. It's not "Oh, I wish I could, but God's with me." And no, that's wrong. You're not saved. You're just wishing. When you're changed from the inside, oh, forget it. You don't even belong to you anymore. You'll know. You will know. And there's my favorite word. When a man knows a woman, she bears fruit. If our God is knowing you, and he is, no matter what, because he's working from them 2 sides we'll talk about. Yeah. Yeah. No, but that day with the eagle on my car, I was coming into work and I had that was like a crazy eventful day. I was bringing in my lunch and I had eaten aglio olio. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's pretty simple. It's, if you grow your own garlic, it's dirt cheap. It's just pasta with oil. You cook it in the oil and tons and tons of garlic. And the garlic, once it starts to lose that edge, you brown it up a little bit, and you can do it in stages. So you got a little bit of a mix. Some crispy, some not, some sinners, some not, some willing and some willing and able, some suffering and bruised, there was so much garlic in this thing that it was like creating gas. And if you eat enough garlic, if you're blowing smoke out the stack in the back, guess what? It just smells like garlic. So I walk in, punch in the, I'm first guy on a job. I need to back up. As I'm walking up to the door, there's a fox, close, but not too close, but right there. And I stopped and I'm like, whoa. Because I'm like, all right, it's only a fox. It wasn't that big, but it's like, what if the thing's got rabies or something jumps on it? I mean, did he want my food? I don't know what he wanted, but I was just like, whoa. And I just kind of just stood there and stood my ground and just like looked at him, stared at him until he just decided to leave. So I had a stare down with a fox. Then I go in, code, walking back. And as I was walking into my office, like you had to go through a short hallway, right turn, and then through a door, like a secure door. It wasn't locked, but one of those ones with the glass on it with the little wires that go like this you see in a hospital. Never punch one of those things, because what you'll do is you'll cut your hand open like this. If you're really good, you'll do a palm strike and you'll break the guy's face on the other side of the window and put a bunch of glass in there, but then they'll write you up for charges. But then they'll let you off for the charges because that guy was being a jerk for picking on a civilian out in the parking lot because she was overweight and you were trying to put him in his place. Yeah, glass. Ooh, glass is rough stuff, man. So as I'm walking into my office, I figure, nobody's here, so I let one rip. And I let a good one go. I mean, it was juicy. I was wondering, I'm thinking, this ain't good. A shart is not what you want to do, and then you have to head for your desk. But head in there, and I go to my office, and I sit down. Well, here comes a lady behind me. Her name's Mary Nelson. She walks in, and she would cut through the IT area to get to her desk. Yeah, we don't care, say good morning, whatever, how you doing? Or at one time, relations at that shop were starting to get weird. And it was like, I don't know what the heck was going on, but people were just treating me really, really rude for some reason. I mean, they were calling me out for things that were like ridiculous, Somebody sent an email saying, and there was a reason why I sent this email. And they called me out like as if I was being a racist or I don't know, profiling people or something. I'm like, we work in a collection agency, guys. That's all we do is profile people. I do it. When I got pushed down and reduced to collector from being like running that actually happened at that other company that I told you I had to try to go to work for. Not good. Yeah. Then I became a bill collector there, and that was a headache. But I don't know. But she walks in, and what she says, I just want to finish. She walks in and she goes, "Oh, somebody brought Italian food for lunch." And I'm like, oh boy. I'm sitting at my desk. I just ripped a nasty one, and she's like, and I'm like, I just picture her as like a dog following me, right? If she couldn't tell what it was, right? If her eyes were closed and she didn't know that was evil, to like, she might be going, "Oh, it's Italian food." I am Italian. At least some of my family comes out of Italy, but my last name is actually African. It's a Bush. Musante. Look it up. Anyway. 2 kinds of sin, or 2 ways to look at it, right? Because sin is weird. Sin is like a stem cell. You shouldn't mess with it, right? But there are times when through the Spirit you are, the demand is upon you to actually do things that deviate from what the written law might say, or something like that, right? 1934. And so, if that's what you're doing, I'm sorry. I just thought about something else. Man. My life is getting ready to get wild. I can feel it, and I'm trembling. Why did I say that? What the hell happened in 1934? Did I say 1934? I said 1934. Was that World War One? I don't know. I can tell you when World War II was because I have a Bible from then, one of the servicemen's Bibles. But anyway, let's try to focus. And it's hard for me right now because that's what I was saying. You can pray and beg for God to come and show up. And like, the thing is I guess you should kind of expect that for what you're dealing with and the importance of the situation, he might have to let it build so that you're just going, like begging. And then when he shows up, he goes like, and it's like, give me another one. And it's like, oh, and then you know why? So you can have no mistake at all, none, so that you don't have any fear. And then you gotta be smart. You gotta go, okay, this is it, and I don't want to blow it. And you're like, so it's like, me, I'm like Elisha. Now I can't really have a barbecue and burn the place down or something. Yeah, leaving does not include a short trip to jail. Well, because if it was really important while I'm in jail, it'd be a short trip because you'd have an earthquake, shake the thing, I'd come out, the the keepers would be there with their guns, get out, get out. I'd be like, oh yeah, you want to go to hell? Oh, save us. Yeah, that's how most people think of it. No, I am oh, I just looked and it was 2229. That's my mom. Sorry. Oh, I'm such a Hasid. I love numbers. I love machines. And when you can see that there's patterns and that our God moves in that way, I'm sorry. It just works. You can see it. It's not rocket science. It's beyond that, but it's simple like a kid can understand. And so, yeah, I got downloaded on here. And then I did a crazy thing, right? Like, you want to hear how crazy it is? I went to sleep last night, turned everything off. I'm like, okay, I'm down, right? I slept. I woke up just in time, and usually I wake up, what do you want me to do? I don't know. There was something different this morning. It was weird. It was like there was a comfort or something, right? I didn't feel like I had to go crashing into everything, trying to, save everybody or something. And because now I've got like comfort, right? And so what happens? I don't think it was, but I don't know how much time I had. It wasn't long, but then all of a sudden the clock starts striking 700. Ding, ding. I'm like, 700 club. Hey. So then I'm like, okay, jump on my, on the YouTube. And what do I see? Hey, we're rocking now. We're in. Except that what did I do? It's 7 o'clock in the morning here. What happens if you call like someplace else and like another? I'm like jammed up against the eastern seaboard as much as you can. Okay. What about, well, it's only 6 o'clock in Texas. Wait, would you like to get a call at 4 o'clock in the morning? Hey man, I'm so glad. And if the guy doesn't yell at you and go off, that's a friend. That's a friend. Do you know what that was? He was so honoring our Father. Even the scriptures are being fulfilled. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What if a friend, and I consider us friends, what if a friend comes to you at 12 at night and he's banging on your door? I need a loaf of bread. Come on, if you can't figure out what that's about, okay? 12 night noon is like mid zone. That's where it's tough. You go over these hills, right? You go over hills as you're walking, and you climb a little bit, climb, right? You get, but and it gets tough because you don't know if you don't know if you're actually going to even make it to the top because he's he's not doing anything wrong. But our God is just making sure that you have to be serious. It isn't what some people think. Oh yeah, we just go execute somebody and we're all good forever now. It wasn't that simple. You can't treat it that way. But when he's working all the time, then you get to the top, he shows up, and then it's like until the next time he's got to do the same. And how would you like to pray for almost 6 solid years straight, begging God for something? Everything's falling out around you. Okay. Yeah, the church that you help build, if you go on the property, and this is for doing nothing wrong. I'm just telling you facts. You'll be arrested. Hundreds and hundreds of pastors that used to know that you could call and talk about all these things, they don't want to talk to you because you know something they don't. So it must be heresy. It must be wrong. And it's like, there's no such thing as heresy in this world. You can go ahead and destroy things, but you're working from the other side of God. He will ruin things. It's heresy at its core. But I guess what I would say is do not think that you're going to get away with it. When people think heresy, that there's no purpose for it. If there was no purpose for evil, why would he create it? It says that. And that's how tricky it is. So let's talk about you getting out of sin, right? So we know, or at least we're told, and I hope that you trust the scriptures enough to die for them. I wouldn't die for sake of hanging on to a book, but I know what they represent. And for that purpose, all worthy. I signed up for the Marine Corps. I think I've kind of upped my game, right? But since, we're told that he will always provide you a way out, right? So I ran into a kind of a particular circumstance in 2020. You remember what happened back there, right? It was a pandemic. And, I'm like, people are dying. What am I supposed to do? And I'm like, am I guilty? Is this like judgment on the whole world? It certainly felt like it. Now here where I live, the signs were even more prophetic. And I'll say that because it was, I want to take a key name or a weird name, right? I want to take the name ironic clay, like iron and clay. When they try to mix, it's ironic clay. Ironically, ridiculous. Somebody else is wrecking their stuff. And now I'm a victim just because I'm in proximity? That doesn't seem fair. Right? So then it's kind of like you can't start judging and saying he's not finding you a way out. You just have to keep digging until you find it. And when I found it, it was rock solid. Because in my heart, he's screaming, Levin, Levin, Levin. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to leaven. It's going to level this place. It's going to permeate everything. They're at one time they would test to see if a particular, they would test. Well, I'll go to turn the equation around, make it simple. At the water testing facility for a large area, they could go in there and the water that was coming out of people's toilets, they could tell if somebody was infected. They were talking about this, like somebody in the DC area is a carrier of blah, blah, blah. And it's like, really? And it's like, they're picking up out of the toilets. And it's like, wow, man, Stay away. And so that's what I did. I went into Passover mode. I decided I would go through all of the feasts that were there. Didn't matter. It kept going. I mean, it started to peter out after that. It started to, but it was still. So, your answers are actually in there. You're going to have two answers. And maybe even more than that. It says he provides you a way out. I don't know. I think there's, I could have gone completely faithful and done every single, well, that's it. Now I have no other options but that. As soon as I become, this is guiding me right here. As soon as this is guiding me, that's it. There's no more excuses, answers, questions, even problems. I just got to find that solution in there. And that's what it means when you search out, as a king. So I don't only have my own way out. I would feel that what if, let's say I was oblivious to, and again, God knows I can't talk to you with complete sovereignty, because if I did that, then I probably wouldn't even worry about you enough to try and call you to me. I would be, and the type I'm talking about. God's got this. I'll pray for you. God is good. And then he'd do nothing. It's like, isn't God in you? Aren't you supposed to help? I don't know. All the teachings that Jesus said about being the body and all of that, you would think that we would come to the conclusion that, well, God is spirit. How is he supposed to come here? He comes inside of a person. He fills that person's heart, soul, mind. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's a love. It's a comfort. I don't worry about kicking off out of this place. The only thing I worry about is I just want to make sure, and I'm not in I'm afraid way. I want to show up on the other side and just be found. Wow, yeah. Everybody, I think probably they do it for everybody when they show up, right? Everybody's like, yeah, we had no clue. What were we fighting for? We'll figure out something probably in the future. And that's why the scriptures are written that way. It's like Satan comes out, he gets to run around for 1,000 years, then he put him back. And it's like, why is he running back and forth? Why is he getting let out of jail? Really? And it's we progress through times, and every time, even down to a day, even down to a choice, which takes you how long? A twinkling of the eye. It's divided in two. There's two ways to go. Can I head off in that direction? Sorry. Can I head off in that direction or this way? Obviously, one's right, one's wrong. That's kind of funny. One's right and one's wrong. I had Jerry Peterson. He wrote some lyrics in one of the songs he cut for the movie and he says, these are Jewish men, but he uses the term that some Jewish people don't like, the shortened version. So I'm not going to do that. But I can't make the song flow by saying, yeah, sure I can. I can stuff that in there. You ready? So it's like doom, 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 and he goes, two Jewish dudes in a fight, one's wrong. It's like, but that's the lyrics of the song. I don't understand, and I don't believe I'm the only one. I don't understand. Anyway, but that's what I feel our trouble is we don't realize that people are walking on two separate paths. You know, there's ways. One of them is you got a staff, right? We'll get back to the hill. You got a staff and you make it. Build you up, kind of like, you know, I think I can. Oh, I think I can. And then it's like, wow, I could. Except when you get to the top, by then, after struggling, all that was you is done. You don't have anything. You're begging at that point for what it is that you receive. You're begging for that. You know, help me. And then, so then when he shows up, yeah, what were you doing? You were swimming in the air, right? Oh, look at this guy treading air. It's incredible. Doesn't he know he can just breathe it? It's like, all right, hang on a minute. I got to wet my whistle. And I'm going to. Oh, man. Okay. Boy. If you wonder why my beard looks like this, because in the Bible it says you're not supposed to trim the edges of your beard. And I also knew that a Nazarite vow was also not to cut your hair. And that makes me think of Samson, you know. I think there's more behind it than that. I think what it is see, it's weird how I can just connect scriptures. It's like they're, you know, but that's probably 5 years of sleeping at night, dreaming and studying while you sleep. I really haven't slept in 5 years. Not like the other people sleep and they have dreams, you know, go to a beach, meet some stranger. I can't even do that. There were a couple of dreams I would have where a strange woman would show up in my dream. Oh no. End of that dream. Oh, what are you doing in here? I'm supposed to be studying the scripture. Anyway, yeah. So what I figured out was, as far as Samson, what did he do wrong? It's like, what? Cut his hair off. So what? Only the Lord is supposed to shear you, to expose expose what you are. Only the Lord. Nobody should see you in your nakedness. That's actually, I feel that that's what also happened to, it was Ham, right? That did that. And that's all it takes. You're just not supposed to see your father's nakedness, right? Because it just might be natural. It's okay. It doesn't concern you. You don't have a right, you know. What if, when we very first, if you look at the account, there was a point where we didn't have an issue with it. Hey, naked people. And it points out flat out to make sure they were not ashamed. But guess what? See, people look at the tree and we look at it as everything got destroyed. But let's look at it from a perspective of that, right? They hadn't taken from the tree, and they had no knowledge of good and evil. But they weren't ashamed. And then after they knew what evil was, then they knew they were naked. So now can you see it? So it's like, is it good to be naked? No. And even that, you can key in on certain words in the Bible and follow them around. Pick one word, and then go to Blue Letter Bible or something like that and read every place you see that word, how it's used. And look at that word. What does it look like in the Hebrew? Does it convert to Greek? Is it in the Greek? Right? And what will happen typically if you take that word in English, like let's say the word made. Okay. Remember Jesus said, I'm making all things new. Well, the word making and made, that refers to peace. That's what the woman was. Eve was made from the rib. I'm going to get so blown away, man. Oh, wow. You can't believe, well, you better believe because it did. I can't, what has happened just over the past 24 hours. And like I said, it all came from just staying on the path, keep studying, don't break down, still move forward in the ways that you can, but don't back up. Don't back up. So if you pick a word when you study, okay, if you pick the word made, for I picked that one specifically for a reason. I'd say go look in the Strong's Concordance and look at how many different Hebrew words are translated into the word made. No. You want to know what made it really is? In that case, a big mistake was made. That was what was made. You've taken the granularity, which I don't know if you know, I don't want to use big words to seem smart, but it just refers to like something being composed and solid, but yet it's made of sand, right? It's but it's still exactly what it's just to say it's got so many moving parts. It all works together, but you've got a lot of components, and that's what the scriptures are, and the words. There's so I don't know. Somebody tried to tell me that I could learn Hebrew in 2 weeks, maybe. He said you'll just you'll just have to. He goes, and it works better if you drill in and focus and just. And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, you mean like when I sleep at night about the Bible? I would study in my sleep, and then I would come to a point where I was doing something, and then visions would be like representing to help me understand it. And then I'd kind of get me to wake up sometime during that, and I would whoa, and I'd go and grab my Bible, find a piece of paper, and they're all over the place, and I would write down, hey, this and that and this, right here. Watch, I'll read some of this stuff to you here, like so. All right. Where? Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. All right. So, I threw like some are just definitions, and this one's right up in the front. Son of man, sons of Adam, mankind, you, with an exclamation point. There are two fathers, Father Truth and Father of Lies. Your works, choose your father. The sons, plural, do as they see their father doing. If you've seen me, you've seen my dad. Now, the problem is you got to back up a minute. There's two fathers, right? But, and so what happens? See, the Son of Man is you. You have to pick a place to do what? To rest your head. Now, if you rest your head on Abraham's bosom, maybe, right? With God, doing what's right, then what happens? What's on the other side of that? Everything in the Bible's cut in half. There's a verse to match, I promise you. There is no rest for the wicked. So the Son of Man is either a son of God or a son of perdition. Now, when Jesus came to teach, obviously they wouldn't let him, you know what probably should have happened or could have happened maybe? There's the options are there. Whatever God does, he does. I would just like to have seen a way where he didn't have to like kill somebody or let somebody be killed. But that brought a problem to us. Paul was not wrong when he said we brought a curse on ourselves when we did that. It has to be done for the right reason. And even a lot of people don't even realize that he actually bled 2 times in the garden. He bled once. Remember, the sweat of your brow, your works, you'll eat of the ground. We're the dirt. He was trying to help us. Praying, working, and what? He bleeds from the forehead. He gave that blood willingly. The other stuff, that kind of got beaten out of him. So there's always 2 everywhere, all through this thing. And why? Why does it have to work that way? Next page. Creating is evil. What? Unless the Lord does it. You may or may not be able to. I'm not going to chance it. I don't want to create anything. I'm a former and a maker. I don't need to create anything more. Everything was done. Why should I need to make anything, right? And thus must only be only be that our God do any of it. And then I read Isaiah 45:7. I form light and I create darkness. I make peace and I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. What's the next one? Names. A name is not who you are. It is what you are. Okay? This is important to notice because more changes occur, name changes occur at very important crossroads. Israel means, and these are open interpretation because the fact of the matter is the way the Hebrew's constructed, each letter has its own meaning, and then you got to assemble them, and you have to walk in a certain order, right? Like if the father of the house was in the front or something, if that thing switches around, it might be that the house is here, the father's leaving the house. The father's leaving the house to get a drink of water, So I don't know if it would be like, I don't know what that is. Resh Yod Mem. I don't even know what that is. Hopefully I didn't say a bad word. Yeah, whoa. Sorry, guys. Captain, not so obvious here. So Israel means God prevails. Now, some people, most of the times you'll hear it as wrestles with God, someone who wrestles with God. Let me ask you something. If you wrestle with God and you happen to walk away not being unalived, are you thinking maybe he let you go? Here it comes. Oh, he let you go. Sure he did. You were running with the 3 ribs in your mouth, and he said no. That's my gang sign, by the way. Father, son. It's funny because the Trinity is it's a tough thing, and it was kind of invented. But when it says Father, Son, Holy Spirit, remember how the Son can do either one? The Holy Spirit, the whole Spirit. Most people think holy, and they're like, can the Holy Spirit send evil to you? Yeah. How? Well, the Holy Spirit doesn't get involved. He just looks for somebody to go. And you think I'm going, what? Oh, yeah, that's in 1 Kings 22 when King Ahab has to be taken down. He says, who will go? And it's sad that nobody will go in times of good, but in times of let me go cause trouble, I'll do it. It's probably why I'm here. It's snowing like mad out there. I haven't eaten in about 3 days. Did I have a sandwich yesterday? Day before? I think I did. No, I was going to have tuna and I gave up. Did I eat anything? Oh, I had a bowl of soup. Yeah, bowl of soup 2 days ago. Yesterday, nothing. Today, and the fruit juice I'm drinking over there is ridiculous. It's like water. I I have a small vineyard and make some wine, and I for this year was the first year that I actually used any of the grapes to actually make wine. And I was, I'm afraid. It's like, you hear all the things like people stomp in grapes and whatever. Want to get grossed out? The yeast and the junk that gets between your toes and whatever. That stuff can actually make the wine taste better. So, but I didn't stomp it. But I didn't have a good enough press because I don't know if I got enough juice out. I was following the what it said to do, but it just turned out too weak. But there's making wine is it's not there's a easy way and there's a not easy way. If you can get concentrated grape juice, it's very easy because they've already put everything in it. You just need to introduce, that to some yeast, and you're good to go. If you wanted to have more alcohol, you can then, along with the yeast, dump a bunch of sugar in it. The more sugar, the more alcohol. You drive, but it's got everything in it. It's concentrated. Plus, you got tannins, which are it's like the stuff that comes off the skins. It has to. It's hard to get it off there. You almost have to take the skins off, maybe throw them in a blender. And they sell it. They have it extra. And actually, I'll be honest with you, I'm not afraid to pick trash. If I'm driving down the street and there's something sitting there and it's obvious and I want it, I'm going to stop and take it. Because that way I won't have to buy it and I can spend my money on something else, maybe even you. Wouldn't you rather that I pick in the trash? But one time I just happened to be driving up near the vineyards and I was driving by a house and I saw look like test tubes and kind of stuff out there. I'm like, whoa, what's that? Is that like an old chemistry kit maybe sitting? And it was a winemaking kit for putting the caps on the bottles. I think the only thing that wasn't in there, I didn't have the gravity thing, but I had a bottle brush to scrub out the carboys. I had a bunch of metabisulfate, which is but even those things, all the powders and dust, if it wasn't sealed in something, forget it. The only thing I think I used out of there that was a consumable was yeast. He had one packet of some like a rosé yeast. That I used for maybe that's what happened. I don't know. It tastes like water. It doesn't even taste like grape juice anymore. And I don't know if it even ever did because you're not drinking it here this minute. But yeah, I didn't, I got to use a little bit of smarts, but all the winemaking stuff just kind of appeared for me, and I had in that pile of stuff, there was some tannins, but it's like, it was in a, Ziploc bag. It's like, no. How do I know why this is here? Maybe this guy, he was a winemaker and then suddenly got sick and died. And his wife threw all his junk out on the curb, because he just seemed to be getting sick as he was making wine. And guess what? I follow in his footsteps, and what do I expect to happen? Exact same thing. All right. But like when Israel said God, I say God prevails because you ain't winning that fight. Okay. So, and I said, and now, and when you get a name, names are, some of the names, the tribal names, are actually more applicable to all of them are applicable to an individual person because that's how they started. Each of those people got that name for a specific reason, a very specific reason. So, when Reuben was born, behold a son. That was the first one that's listed when it shows it in the old writings, right? Guess what happens when you go to the Christian Bible or the New Testament? In there, it switches and puts Judah first. And people will be like, "Oh, you can't do that." It's like, no. If you listen to the blessings of Jacob, he says that the staff will remain between Judah's feet. So what you can envision is that a lion controlling the path, and he's just walking down the path in the center, always with that. You don't take the staff off the thing. You don't run your feet off the path either. So you're just going down the path, the narrow path. Okay, and that's Judah. But the narrow path is a path of the Lord, and the Lord has more than one way. And when I say that, this is not universalism. I'm saying that one way is, good job, willing and faithful servant. Let me upgrade your staff. Here, this one turns into a snake. You'll like it. When people are arguing with you and fighting over, can God use evil? You can go, you don't think so? Oh, yeah. My God actually uses your evil for food. Ooh. Everything I say to you, if it's something sticks, write that down. And go run around and see what you find on that. Okay, he's screaming in my head right now. I got to give all this to somebody. Because I'm nobody. Thus, one who is of the house of Israel has the character to go with the name. Okay? And what did I say here? Don't let go. Do you remember how Jacob said, I won't let go until you bless me? There are people that the angel that appears there, I'm just going to say angel of the Lord. But some people, there's a bit of controversy that surrounds who that angel might have been. Was it a good angel? Was it a bad angel? If it was God, there's no way he could have won, right? But the point is there is, when it talks about the covenants of day and night, our Lord rules during the day via the sun. You can follow his guidance. You are shining. So how you're illuminated by him. So what you do is exposed to him, and then to speak of maybe a period of cooperation where we're actually working with, contributing instead of rebelling against. But then, well, guess what? There's another thing too. That's the night that you're actually trying to get out of. And that bad guy has shown up to go, okay, this is it. You ready to cross that river? I've seen a lot of people. You know what Jordan means? It means usurper or descender. So when you get baptized in the Jordan, that's just like, that was what the point of it was. It was symbolic to say we've passed through like even, bad waters or something. We made it to the other side. In some cases, a prophet banged on it and literally split it and they walked through it, which is reminiscent of even Moses. I hear a train. No, all ways actually lead to God. There's one way that you go that you're going to like. All the rest take too long, and you're going to end up there beaten up, right? It's you don't just dunk your toe in the stream, right? Because it doesn't matter. As soon as your toe hits that water, Leviathan's going to grab you by the ankle and drag you in, and you're going. So it's kind of like maybe instead get an inner tube and an umbrella drink and try to enjoy the ride. Because Kansas is going bye-bye. All right, now this one's kind of neat. Why do you ask my name? Why do you ask my name? I must have been, I was thinking, right, just kind of clipping through, and I went from names to why do you ask my name? And I'm trying to condense little nuggets where I can fit it on a tiny little spot. because as you've seen, I'll get on here and I talk for an hour and 30 minutes, and it seems like I've done nothing but just blustering wind about how wonderful our God is. And it's hard for me because I've not lived a life where anybody would say that I was interested in God, and much more so that God had any interest in me. And I feel that's about to change. I think I'm going to get a blessing finally. Everything's a blessing. I just want I want my blessing to be for serving him directly, not all the stuff that's in the past where it has been, I want this, I need that, I could use this, thank you for this. Oh, that kind of thing. No, I want my reward to come via like a means of having served. And that's what's on my heart. I want to make sure I get it right because I got 2 little girls waiting for me. But why do you ask my name? And the first thing I just kind of think about it. And what did it say? If see, this is hard to read. This is one of these things. This is how the Bible has some of these phrases ready. If you knew, I didn't put a comma, you wouldn't ask. You know what I thought the first? Now I got a fourth one. If I knew you, you wouldn't ask. And that seems kind of simple, but what about when God knows you? Can you see what happened to the Jesus people now that he said, away from me? Right? I didn't know you. He didn't produce the fruit that he sees coming through you. Number 2, because you don't know my name. And that's kind of like, if you know the name, and I did, I certainly capitalized know in here, and I capitalized knew. If you knew, which is to say, if when God is asking you to work for him, if you're doing his works, you don't need to ask what his name is, because you know him. His name is known. I know it sounds, I get the sense that it's just not hitting home, right? It's like if you could see it, but maybe everybody can't. Verses where Satan exalts himself. Isaiah 14, 3-14, and Ezekiel 28:2. I would point out that you should start to notice things like Satan exalted himself. What's the verse number? 14, which is a good number, 13, which is a bad number, and 14, which is another good number. So it's kind of like hemming in from 2 sides, right? And then you got Ezekiel, and he is in 28:2, 2:8:2. That's 12. It's 12, but it's also an 8 surrounded by 2 2s. It's like, what's the point? I'm becoming convinced that I can see something that Sir Isaac Newton saw when he was studying the scriptures. He was gravitating. I don't know if it would almost be comical and what he deserved if he noticed that those verses were broken into a certain pattern. And I'm telling you, they are. They absolutely are. Look at all the verses that start with 2:12. Okay. One that I didn't look at would be 21:2, and that would be easy in Revelation. Let's see. 21:2. See, in the 2:12 verses, one is Moses killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. 2:12 in Romans is where Paul basically throws everybody under the bus. He says, I don't care who you are, you're under the law. Sin is the power of the law. If you sin, you're under the law. It's just that cut and dry. Revelation 21:2. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. Oh boy, I'm not going to forget that one now. That's 21:2. Now let's go look at 2:12 in Revelation. And what I see them as is that they're like boiling points for water. It's like something really explosive happens. Paul basically says, "Hi, we're all serving God." Here, he checks 3 boxes and walks away, and everybody's going, "Ooh, what did you just say?" Paul, I love you, Paulie. All right, so it's to the church of Ephesus, and the second one is, this is a boiling point. Watch, listen what this says. I know your deeds. Can you see how that gets? We separate who really made this happen here, because we read it. I know your deeds, and automatically what you're thinking is, I did something and he knows about it. No. Stop. You're going the wrong way. You're looking the wrong way. He did this. Okay? It's wow. This is huge. So this is in Revelation. This is verse 2. Oh, that's 2:2. That's still a good verse. See, it doesn't matter where I read. I know your deeds. What does that mean? Does it mean he's just aware of them, or did he give you the Spirit in order to do them? Go like this. And be careful what you ask for. Never, ever, ever tempt the Lord, because it's not sin if you ask for it. So with all that temptation, tragedy, reckless stuff coming on you, no, you got it coming because you asked for it. It was bad. Hopefully I haven't done just that, but I don't know. I haven't spilled blood on anybody yet, so at least I got that going for me. So 12 is actually the very first verse to the church of Pergamum. Oh yeah, yep. This is a boiling point. Right here, you're cutting the baby in half. These are the words of him who has the sharp, double-edged sword. That's a rock. All right, let's see. Let's go. Matthew 2:12. 2:12. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, this is another huge one. They returned to their country how? Another way. Okay, so now here's the point why I'm even bringing this up. I hope nobody's sitting there going, God didn't put those numbers in there. Absolutely right. Man did, because they took a scroll and they decided to hack it into pieces, right? Well, let me ask you something. How is it that they were able to, it's very odd how they could still keep it formatted and still have these little hooks. But man did it, but really who Spirit was hitting man, right? Who were the people that were putting the Bible together? Who was doing it, right? It's, and all the irony, you ever heard of Voltaire? Voltaire told this one guy, God will be gone in 100 years. You want to know what was happening 100 years later? In the apartment he lived in was sitting a, what do they call that thing? What was that press called? A Gutenberg. He had a Gutenberg press in there, which was one of the first presses in the world to make, the Good City. That's the name of the press, Gutenberg, the Good City. And what happened? Yeah, the good city came down from heaven, didn't it? Wow. See what I mean? The names. Pay attention to the names. When you see names going on, like Obama's nation, Trump Pence, Trump advance. Do you know Biden? Biden and Harrison was a crazy one, man, because Biden means both or abide with. And there were he had, you had two different genders, you had two different um, races. You know, I'm not I'm not picking color of skin for that reason. Just saying there was a light person and a dark person. One was male, one was female. Um, her name means son of hairy. Remember Elijah, the hairy man? When I see all these weird things that I can see, I wonder if something God's trying to use whatever ways to try and prompt and grab attention, right? Because Jesus did say something that was kind of disturbing, right? What did he say? When the Son of Man returns, will he find faith? And it's like, in this place, the way I see that people should appreciate our God, not so much. And yet, if I think about it, when I just told you, maybe an hour ago that the Son of Man is you. You are a Son of Man. That's in here. Well, I wrote it down in there. It's in the Bible. I was reading it to you out of there. Yeah, you are the Son of Man. So then what happens? How will the Son of Man have faith when he returns? And it's like, I don't know if faith is the free gift from God. I guess you just have to accept it or something. But it's like I, in the same way, kind of fall into that same category, right? I'm a son of man. So are you. So is it possible? And I say it probably is, that we have misunderstood the words of our Messiah. And when he said like things like any time will do, something like that, right? And everybody's waiting, sitting around. To me, that is almost like some kind of strange idolatry, because it says that we will be judged even for our idle words. And I think that that's the point with what our God wants. He doesn't want us, he wants us to cook it and book it and for 6 days and then time off. But when we should live to him, right? Give our lives to him so that we can bless him and bless each other. When we want to bless him, we'll find that what we're actually doing is we're blessing each other, because that's what he wants from us. Brother against brother, hand against hand. That kind of doesn't seem right. To me, I can't see that as our God wanting that to be a desire as a ultimate solution. It's just a time of struggling to work us through and towards wherever it is we're supposed to go. Even the Garden of Eden, I can't say that was that. I don't say that was a mistake. I don't necessarily think it was. I think that somehow he knew that was going to happen. And it's funny. You will not surely die, for God knows. He knows. Here. Are you listening close? I want to tell you something. I know more about this book than I'm telling people. Listen to this carefully. Remember I said that the Lord knows you and does everything, right? Isaiah 45:7. I form light, I create darkness. I make peace, I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Just remember, when he wants to create evil, he's doing it on your behalf. You have asked for it. He's given you the desires of your heart. He's not testing you. You have already asked for it. And that's what he was done with his work of making and creating. We force him to do this bad. Why? How do we force him? He's living in you. You have him held hostage in you while you go out and do abominable things, and he's trapped in you. And that's why when he starts to bust out, he's, if he can't change you, he'll take you down. Sounds so obvious, right? So he says, so this is verse 3:5. That's actually 3.5. So in that verse, God knows, sounds like almost sounds like he was lying, but he's not. God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be open and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Okay? I just want to look real quick at a 3:5 on another one just to see if that one looks like a lie. Or how it might relate to that one. And, you know, I mean, if I was all concerned with myself, and this is what I will end up doing, you just lock me into a hole somewhere with a bunch of paper, maybe and I'll just read this thing, and that's probably how it just burn my time out. So, oh, this is Moses in the burning bush, actually. So what does Moses say in 5? Oh, look at. And that one, it sounds like a lie is told. And in Exodus, sounds like a lie was told, because he says, you'll be like God. And then honestly, we get kicked out. So how is it that we weren't then, right? Well, no, I just said that just in case. And you did it anyway. I don't know. The things we think, right? So Moses thought, wait, is that 3? So Moses thought, do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. That's like a door. You know what that is? That's a door statement. That's a door. There's something about to be happening. You're given a choice. What does Moses do? Moses is, do not come any closer. Take your sandals off, for the place you're standing is holy ground. It's kind of like, you know, I don't know. I guess people ask, what questions would you ask God? I would say, is there any time that this ground that I'm in will be holy? And then he'll probably laugh and go, God, you were holy all the time. Why do you think you were alive? Because I was inside of you, right? All right. Numbers. How about Leviticus 3? That kids playing? Right about now, there should be kids coming up to the house, you know, asking about shoveling my snow and stuff like that. It's like, don't need it, guys. I got nowhere to go. I got no money to go anywhere. Then Aaron's sons are to burn it on the altar on top of the burnt offering that is on the burning wood, as an offering made by fire. Then Aaron's sons are to burn it on the altar on top of the burnt offering. What are they putting on top of the burnt offering? Fat on them near the loins and covering the covering of the liver, which he will remove with the kidneys. Then Aaron's sons are to burn it on the altar, all of it, I guess, on top of the burnt offering. See, and it's funny because you know how they say that we are living sacrifice and everything. I don't know if we look at it in the right direction, if we associate these terms in that way correctly. Because there are verses that say, you know, you will build for me an altar of earth. And it's like, we're actually made of earth, right? I am, yeah. So when it, if it uses a term like altar, is it saying something about the altar? Like, is that actually commanding man to do it? I don't know. That's why I got to get out of Hebrew, or I need somebody to tutor me, and that might happen. Oh, I'm convinced of it. I should just start learning it now. I know some of it. As much of it I know of it, it just blows me away. It's amazing. Just the structure in it. It is truly amazing. Here's a good one. Drunkard and glutton. I put 0 to do with food. Nothing. It refers to his understanding of the word. Okay, so if you, and when I say that, his understanding of the word is not knowledge of the word. Knowledge means you're doing the word. Remember, anytime you see that word know, it's referring to fruit being formed somehow. When you see understanding, that's saying that you, the visual or the word picture that I give would be, you're under his wing where you can stand. You're under his authority, but you're still standing, right? And actually, because you're under his authority, you're standing. So 0 to do with food, it refers to, I said his understanding of the word, but that really could be the one who's considered the drunkard or the glutton, right? So, and it says, good and evil are foods that Jesus eats. He eats both fruits. That's crazy because people will be like, what? It's his tree, isn't it? Or was it just there and he just didn't want us to mess with it because things are going to get bad, right? And there you go. Oh, yeah, this is like, I wonder if it would have been darker. I wonder if I could evaporate it. I actually had a glass of wine. I stuck it in the fridge, and I do that often. It's too often. I'm bad. I'll drink like a half a beer. All right, just put it in the fridge. And but a glass of wine wound up hidden behind something. There's some things that's sitting in there that you're never going to use very much of, right? Mine was a coffee canister because I stopped drinking coffee probably 3 years ago. And then my sleep seemed to get a little better at first, but now it's like, no. But the reason why I don't like drinking coffee is because it makes me sweat. And I don't want to, I can't deal with that. You're like, well, you can't sweat. I just mean it makes me sweat more than what I appreciate when I drink caffeine. So I have all kinds of coffee sitting here. I have sealed. Remember when I always get an advance on things, and I'll stock my storehouse when it's low, so that I have it when everybody else is complaining about how high it is. The only way you can get to that point is if you have to be a manager with your money. I mean, our God gives us everything we need, believe it or not. But in some cases, that need might be around you somewhere from one of your neighbors. And you're there actually like being a judge of your neighbors. That's what Jesus was pointing out. Why is this person messed up? what's the problem here? And he's saying, you know, who sinned, him or his parents, that he was born blind, which seems to speak of like even reincarnation or something, right? And Jesus just flat out tells him, no, he's here because he needs help, you know. And what did I do? I changed what he said, didn't I? He said, no, I tell you, he is here that the works of God might be displayed. Okay? Help. The person isn't to be beat up and whatever. That temple, our God is like trapped in there, if you want to think of it. You got to cause him to repent. And then the other, you know, the only way for that is, you know, they just explain it as evil spirits fleeing from you or something like that. I'm gonna have to look at today's video and see what an impact this has had on me. I'm telling you, the last 2 days of my life have changed big time. I don't know what's coming. It's looking kind of frightening. I don't know. Do you fear the Lord? Like, I don't know. I guess I kind of think about Job. I fear him in a good way. It's not a, you know, if you haven't done anything wrong, intentionally, for sure, then guess what? He's got you covered. He will still take care of you. He'll use whatever that bad was to try and work it actually for your good. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to collapse. I mean, I really do. Like I don't know, 5, 6. I don't know how long that conversation was this morning. 6 hours. And the snow is just, it's like little flakes. It's doing like a snow globe right now out there. And there's evergreens out in front. So they're kind of, you know, catching it in the branches and stuff. So they're looking pretty. Oh, Father God, thank you. Thank you for today. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for all the things I haven't figured out to thank you for yet. I know they're going to be there. I know it. Oh. All right. Oh, check this. Oh. Wait a minute. I think it's. No. Hey, Beavis. Have you seen this? Tell me, have you seen it? Well, I thought it was so simple, bro. I laid it down somewhere I know. Have I seen it? Tell me, have I seen it? Woo, I will get it out of here. Whatever that is. I would. It's such a long time for me, but I was wrong. Baby, I was wrong. Tell me, have you seen her? That's that one. trying to find this. I know where it is.